The village of Umueke was alive with celebration. The air buzzed with rhythmic beats of ekwe drums, the rich aroma of roasted yam and palm oil filling the night. Women in dazzling Ankara wrappers swayed to the music, their choral beats jingling with every moment, while men in regal Isiagu tunics and red caps exchanged greetings. It was the New Yam Festival, a time of renewal, a time of joy. But for Adaeze, it was a time of silent mourning. As the daughter of Eze, the village spiritual leader, she was bound by duty, honor, and most of all tradition. She was betrothed to Chikelu, the first son of the village chief, a man she neither loved nor respected. Her heart had long belonged to another, Obiora, the fearless hunter from a disgraced bloodline. Tonight, as the festival raged on, Adaeze felt the weight of her fate pressing down on her like an iron chain. Beneath the cover of the towering Udara tree, away from prying eyes, Adaeze and Obiora met in secret. Adaeze, Obiora whispered, taking her hands in his, "I cannot let them take you from me." She swallowed hard, fighting back tears. "What can we do? My father has given his word. Our love is a curse in their eyes." "Then let us break the curse," he said firmly. "Let us leave this village and start anew, where no elder, no law, no tradition can keep us apart." Adaeze hesitated. She knew what living meant: abandoning her family, forsaking the ancestors, becoming an outcast. But what was a life without love? She nodded, finally making her choice. "At the next full moon, we leave." Neither of them noticed the shadow lurking in the trees. Chikelu had heard everything. Chikelu, consumed by rage, wasted no time. That very night, he went before the Indiche, the council of elders, spinning a tale of treachery. He accused Obiora of defiling the sacred lands, of hunting in the forbidden grove of Ani, the earth goddess. The elders, bound by law, decreed a swift punishment: exile. At dawn, warriors stormed Obiora's hut, dragging him through the village like a captured beast. Adaeze screamed, fought, pleaded with her father, but his face remained stone cold. "The gods have spoken," he said. "You will marry Chikelu and you will forget this boy." Obiora's last words before being cast out echoed in her heart: "I will return for you, Adaeze. No tradition will keep me from you." Days turned to weeks, and Adaeze became a prisoner in her own home. She was dressed, adorned, and prepared for a wedding she did not want, but her mind was elsewhere, on Obiora. Alone in the wilderness, a man without a home, a love stolen from him. In his exile, Obiora wandered deep into the forgotten lands of the ancestors. There, he stumbled upon an ancient shrine, long buried beneath vines and thyme. Inside, he found a scroll, aged and delicate, containing a truth long buried. Generations ago, it was Chikelu's ancestors who betrayed the village, framing Obiora's bloodline to seize power. The truth had been hidden, the crime buried beneath time and silence. Now he had proof, and he had a reason to return. The New Yam Festival had come again. The villagers gathered in the square, Drums echoing in the night. Adaeze stood beside Chikelu, her face a mask of quiet defiance. The marriage was to be announced. Then a voice rang through the crowd. "I have returned." Gasps spread like wildfire as Obiora stepped forward, the scroll held high. His once worn hunter's cap was now replaced with the regalia of truth, a feathered cap, leathered armbands, and a confidence that could shake mountains. Chikelu stepped forward, eyes blazing. "You dare return?" "I dare," Obiora said, unrolling the scroll, "and I bring the truth." The hall fell into a heavy silence, broken only by the faint rustle of the ancient scroll as the elders passed it among themselves. Their faces, once stern and composed, grew pale. The air grew thick with tension, and all eyes turned to Chikelu, the once trusted advisor, whose grip on power now seemed to tremble. Chikelu, one of the elders, finally spoke, his voice trembling with disbelief. "Is this true? Is this the history we were never meant to know?" Chikelu's eyes narrowed, his jaw tightening as he stepped forward. "This is a lie," he thundered, his voice echoing through the hall. "This man, Obiora, has dared to defy the king's decree and return to this village to spread deceit. He seeks to sow chaos among us. Guards, seize him at once." The guards moved swiftly, their hands gripping Obiora's arms as they dragged him toward the exit. But as they did, the scroll slipped from Obiora's grasp and unfolded across the floor. The king, who had been silent until now, caught sight of the royal seal stamped at the bottom of the parchment. His eyes widened in recognition. "Wait," the king commanded, his voice cutting through the chaos. The guards froze, and all eyes turned to the king as he stepped down from his throne. He picked up the scroll, his fingers tracing the familiar seal. After a moment of careful examination, he strengthened and declared, "Release Obiora. He speaks the truth." A ripple of shock spread through the crowd. Murmurs of confusion grew louder, rising into outcries of betrayal. The villagers who had once revered Chikelu as a pillar of wisdom and authority now turned their anger toward him. The truth long buried had finally come to light. The village had been deceived for generations, and Chikelu's family was at the heart of it all. Chikelu's face contorted with rage and desperation as he realized his power was slipping away. "This is madness," he shouted, but his voice was drowned out by the groaning fury of the crowd. His influence, once unshakable, crumbled like dust in the wind, swept away by the weight of the truth. As the elders proclaimed Obiora's innocence and Chikelu's disgrace, Adaeze broke free of the chains that bound her. She ran to Obiora, embracing him before the entire village. Tradition had been their prison. Now, love was their freedom. Their wedding, held beneath the rising sun, was not just a union of two souls, but a declaration to the gods, to the ancestors, to the world. Some traditions are meant to be broken.